The sun rose slowly over the dusty village where two brothers lived. Their names were Amir and Rafi. They were poor, so poor that many nights they slept with empty stomachs. Their house was not more than a small mud hut on the edge of the fields. Every morning, Amir and Rafi woke up before dawn and went out to find work. Sometimes they helped farmers pull water from the well. Sometimes they carried loads for traders who passed through the village. Whatever work they got, they accepted it with patience because they had no other choice. Amir, the elder brother, was about 20 years old. He was tall, thin, and serious in nature. He always thought about the future and how to improve their life. Rafi, only 2 years younger, was smaller but full of energy. He liked to dream big even when they had nothing in hand. The two brothers were very close to each other. When one became sad, the other gave him courage. When one fell sick, the other worked twice as hard. They shared everything, even the smallest piece of bread. Life in the village was tough. The soil was dry and water was scarce. Farmers struggled to grow crops. Young men often left the village to search for jobs in the city. But Amir and Rafi stayed behind because their sick mother could not travel. They looked after her, bought medicine when they could, and prayed every day for better days to come. One hot afternoon, after finishing their work at the market, the brothers sat near the barren land behind their hut. The land was rocky and useless for farming. No one cared about it. Children never played there, and farmers never tried to plant anything on it. It was just a forgotten piece of land. Amir threw a small stone on the ground and sighed. "Rafi, do you think our life will always stay like this?" Amir asked. Rafi smiled even though his stomach was empty. "No, brother. I believe one day something good will happen. Maybe we will find gold, or maybe some hidden treasure will be waiting for us under this land." Amir laughed. "You and your dreams. Who will hide treasure here? Even rain does not come often." Rafi did not argue. He just kept looking at the ground as if he could see something under the surface. His imagination gave him strength. Days passed and the brothers continued their struggle. Then one morning, as they searched for firewood near the rocky land, Amir's foot struck something hard. He thought it was just another stone, but when he bent down and cleared the dust, he noticed the stone was strange. It was black and shiny, different from the usual gray rocks around the village. "What is this?" Amir asked, lifting the piece in his hand. Rafi came closer and touched it. His fingers became oily. He rubbed them together and frowned. "This is not normal stone. Look, my hand has become slippery." Amir smelled the black substance. It had a strong, sharp smell. They both grew curious. Rafi picked up another piece from the ground. Again, the same black, oily surface appeared. The brothers looked at each other with wide eyes. They had never seen anything like this before. That night, they could not sleep. Amir kept turning the black stone in his hand. "What if this has value?" he whispered. Rafi nodded eagerly. "Yes, maybe it is treasure, not gold, but something else. We must find out." The next day, they took the strange stone to an old man in the village named Hakim. He was wise and had seen much of the world when he was younger. Hakim looked at the stone carefully. Then he smiled in a way that surprised the brothers. "Do you know what this is, my sons?" Hakim asked. Amir shook his head. "This is a sign of oil," Hakim said slowly. "Under this land there may be a large field of oil. People in the cities and other countries pay great money for oil. It is like liquid gold." The brothers' eyes widened. Oil was something they had only heard about in stories. They never thought it could exist under their poor land. "But how do we know for sure?" Amir asked. Hakim touched his beard. "You must dig. If you find more of this black substance under the ground, then you will know. But remember, it is not easy. Oil is powerful, but it also brings big changes. Sometimes it brings wealth, sometimes it brings trouble." The warning stayed in Amir's heart, but Rafi was filled with excitement. "Brother, this is our chance. This is the treasure I dreamed about." So the two brothers began to dig in secret. Every evening after finishing their work, they returned to the barren land with small tools. They dug slowly, carefully, and kept their secret hidden from the villagers. Day after day their hands became sore, but their hope grew stronger. One evening, after nearly 2 weeks of digging, Rafi's tool struck something wet. A dark liquid bubbled out from the soil. It spread over the ground, thick and shiny. The smell filled the air. "Brother, look!" Rafi shouted, his eyes glowing. "It is real. We have found oil." Amir bent down and touched the liquid. His heart beat faster. He could hardly believe it. Beneath their poor land there was indeed a hidden secret. A giant oil field waited for them, untouched. unknown to the world. That night the brothers sat together under the stars. Their hearts were full of dreams. Amir thought of their sick mother and how they could finally buy proper medicine. Rafi imagined building a bigger house, eating good food, and wearing clean clothes. They talked until late, their faces shining with hope. But at the same time, Amir remembered Hakim's warning. He looked at the dark horizon and whispered to himself, "If this oil brings wealth, it may also bring danger. We must be careful." Still, the discovery filled their souls with energy. For the first time in their life, they felt the future opening before them. They were no longer just poor boys from a forgotten village. They were the owners of a secret that could change everything. The barren land that no one cared about had become their door to destiny. And this was only the beginning. Amir and Rafi could not stop thinking about the dark liquid they had seen in the ground. Every time they passed by the barren land, their eyes were drawn to the spot where the oil had bubbled out. It felt like a dream, yet it was real. The brothers decided to keep the secret hidden from everyone, even from close friends. They feared that if the villagers knew, people might take the land away or bring outsiders who would claim it. Their first step was to understand more about oil. Neither of them had gone to school for long, so their knowledge was limited. But Amir remembered Hakim, the old wise man who had already hinted about oil's value. One evening they went back to him with worried faces. Hakim welcomed them into his small home and listened quietly as Amir explained their discovery. The old man closed his eyes for a moment, then nodded slowly. "My sons," he said, "you have found something powerful. Oil is not just black liquid. It runs the world. Rich people, companies, even governments fight for it. You must not speak about this carelessly. If the wrong people know, you may lose everything." Rafi's eyes were bright with excitement. "But Hakim, can it really change our life? Can we become rich from this?" Hakim sighed. "Yes, but only if you are wise. Wealth without wisdom destroys families. Oil brings opportunity, but it also brings greed and jealousy. You must move carefully." Amir listened carefully and his heart grew heavy. He understood the danger in Hakim's words, but he also felt the weight of their poverty, the suffering of their mother, and the hunger that never left them. They could not ignore this chance. That night, the brothers talked again while sitting outside their hut. Rafi was full of energy. He spoke of building a strong house, sending their mother to the best doctor, and never working as laborers again. Amir listened quietly and finally said, "Yes, brother, we will use this chance, but we must be patient. We must first learn how to control what we have found." So the next day, Amir and Rafi decided to dig more carefully. They borrowed simple tools from a farmer, telling him they needed to clear stones from their land. Every evening they worked until their hands ached. Slowly, they uncovered more signs of oil. The black liquid seeped out in small amounts, confirming that beneath the earth there was a large reservoir. The brothers realized they could not do everything alone. They needed help, but they also needed trust. After long discussion, they went to Hakim again and asked him for guidance. Hakim told them about the city, where businessmen and engineers could test the land. But he warned them again to be cautious. "If you go to the city," Hakim said, "choose your words carefully. People will try to trick you. Do not sign anything without knowing its meaning." Amir decided he would go to the city, while Rafi stayed behind to guard the land. Their mother was too weak to travel, so Rafi also cared for her. The plan was simple. Amir would gather knowledge, then return and share it. The journey to the city was long and tiring. Amir had little money, so he walked part of the way and took lifts on carts when kind strangers allowed. When he reached the city, he was amazed by the tall buildings, the busy markets, and the endless crowd. He felt small and lost, but he kept reminding himself of the oil waiting back home. After searching for 2 days, Amir finally found a small library. Though he could not read many big words, he spent hours looking at pictures and books. He learned that oil was used to run machines, cars, and even power lights. It was needed everywhere, which explained why people valued it like treasure. One evening, Amir overheard 2 men in the library talking about oil companies. They said that if someone found oil on their land, companies would pay millions to take it out. Amir's heart beat fast. He did not understand everything, but he knew enough. The black liquid from their barren land was worth more than he could ever imagine. He stayed in the city for 5 days, learning whatever he could. Then he hurried back to the village, eager to share the news with Rafi. When Amir returned, Rafi ran to meet him. "Brother, I was waiting every day. Tell me, what did you learn?" Amir smiled, tired, but hopeful. "Rafi, you were right. It is treasure. Oil is more valuable than gold. If we use it wisely, our life will change completely." Rafi clapped his hands with joy. "I knew it. I told you this land had a secret." They sat together with Hakim and shared what Amir had learned. The old man nodded. "You must now make a decision. Either you call experts from the city to test the land, or you keep it hidden and wait for the right time. Both paths have risks." The brothers spent the next few days thinking deeply. Rafi leaned toward calling someone soon, as he was impatient to see their life improve. Amir, however, wanted to wait. He feared that strangers would take advantage of them. One night, as they argued, their mother, who had been resting quietly, called them near. Her voice was weak, but her words were clear. "My sons," she said, "I see your hearts are full of hope. Whatever you choose, remember that wealth means nothing without peace. Do not let greed break your bond. Stay together." Her words touched them deeply. They realized that no matter what, they must protect their brotherhood first, so they made a promise to each other under the starlit sky. Amir held Rafi's hand and said, "No matter what happens, we will face it together. If we win wealth, we share it. If we face danger, we face it side by side." Rafi nodded, his eyes shining. Together always. From that day, the brothers began to prepare for a new chapter of their life. They dug deeper, stored samples of the oil, and even made a plan to travel again to the city. But what they did not know was that secrets like theirs could never stay hidden for long. Already a few villagers had noticed their late work at the barren land. Whispers began to spread, and far away, others who sought wealth were ready to come closer. The ground beneath Amir and Rafi held a treasure, but it also carried shadows of challenges that would soon test their courage. Whispers began to move through the village like dry wind moving across the fields. At first, people thought Amir and Rafi were simply wasting time on the barren land. Some laughed, saying the brothers were digging for nothing. But slowly, the laughter turned into curiosity. Why would two poor boys spend so many evenings working there? Why did they guard the place so carefully? One farmer, who lived near the brothers' hut, noticed the strange black stains on their clothes. He wondered if it was tar, but then he remembered old stories about oil. He told a few neighbors, and soon the rumor spread. Still, no one dared to ask Amir and Rafi directly, because the brothers kept quiet and serious about their work. Meanwhile, Amir and Rafi continued to dig deeper. They built a small shelter near the digging spot, so they could work longer hours without drawing attention. Sometimes Rafi grew excited and shouted with joy when more dark liquid flowed from the ground, but Amir always reminded him to stay calm. "Rafi," he said, "we cannot let the whole village hear us. If people know too soon, they may come to take what is ours." Rafi nodded, though his heart burned with impatience. He wanted the world to know that he and his brother had found treasure. One evening, as they sat with Hakim, the old man shook his head slowly. "My sons, the whispers are growing louder. You cannot hide this forever. People are already guessing. You must be ready for questions and maybe even trouble." Amir frowned. "What should we do, Hakim? If people know, they may bring strangers from the city and we will lose everything." Hakim's eyes grew serious. "That is why you must think ahead. If you choose to deal with outsiders, you must do it on your terms, not theirs. Make sure you understand what they offer. Do not be blinded by promises of quick riches." Rafi leaned forward. "But Hakim, if we delay too long, someone else might come and claim the land. Should we not act fast?" The old man sighed. "Sometimes patience is more powerful than speed. But remember, every choice has its price." That night, Amir lay awake thinking about Hakim's words. He knew the old man was right, but he also knew Rafi's impatience could not be held back forever. He promised himself that he would find a safe path that protected both their discovery and their bond as brothers. The next week, a new face appeared in the village. A trader named Salim arrived with his cart, carrying cloth and spices. Salim often visited small villages to sell goods, but this time, he seemed unusually interested in the barren land. He asked simple questions in a casual way, but Amir noticed his sharp eyes. "Why do you two spend so much time digging there?" Salim asked one afternoon, pretending to smile kindly. "Is there something valuable in the ground?" Amir forced a laugh. "We are only clearing stones for farming. The land may not be good, but at least it is ours." Salim raised an eyebrow but said no more. Still, Amir felt uneasy. That night he told Rafi about his suspicion. "Brother," Amir said firmly, "we must be careful around Salim. He is not just a traitor. He looks like a man who searches for secrets." Rafi shrugged. "So what if he guesses? If he knows about oil, maybe he can help us." Amir shook his head. "Help is not always free. Remember Hakim's warning. If we trust the wrong person, we may lose everything." Despite Amir's caution, Salim continued to observe them. He even tried to speak privately with Rafi one morning, offering promises of gold if Rafi revealed what they were hiding. Rafi felt tempted, but he remembered his promise to Amir and refused. Still, his heart began to feel restless. Days turned into weeks, and the whispers in the village became stronger. People started visiting the barren land when the brothers were not around. Some children played there and came back with black stains on their hands. The rumor was no longer a secret. Everyone suspected that Amir and Rafi had discovered oil. One evening, the village headman called the brothers to a meeting. Many villagers gathered in the square, curious and impatient. The headman cleared his throat and spoke in a firm voice. "Amir, Rafi, people are talking. They say you have found something under the barren land." "As headman, I must know the truth." "Is it oil?" Amir glanced at Rafi, then at Hakim, who was standing quietly at the side. He knew he could not lie anymore. Slowly he nodded. "Yes, headman. We have found oil. It is on our land and we have kept it safe." Gasps spread through the crowd. Some villagers were shocked, others were envious. The headman raised his hand to silence them. "If this is true, then it is not only your matter. Oil is valuable and strangers will come. We must protect the village as well." Rafi's voice rose in protest. "But the land is ours. We discovered it. Should we not have the right to use it first?" The headman frowned. "Yes, it is your land, but such wealth affects everyone. We cannot ignore it." Amir stepped forward calmly. "We do not want to harm the village. We only want to use what is rightfully ours. We promise to share when the time comes, but first we must understand how to manage it." The crowd murmured, some agreeing, some doubting. The headman finally said, "Very well, but be warned, outsiders will come soon. You must be ready." That night Rafi was angry. "Why should we share with everyone? It is our discovery, our hard work. Why must they interfere?" Amir placed a hand on his shoulder. "Brother, sometimes sharing keeps peace. If we fight the whole village, we will lose even before we start. Trust me, patience will give us more in the end." Though Rafi did not like it, he agreed for the moment. But in his heart, the hunger for quick wealth grew stronger. Within a few days, news of the oil reached beyond the village. Salim, the trader, had spread the word during his travels. Soon men from the city began arriving, wearing fine clothes and carrying papers. They claimed they could help extract the oil and promised the brothers a small fortune. One tall man in a gray suit came directly to their hut. He introduced himself as Mr. Karim, an agent of a company. He spoke smoothly, offering promises of wealth, cars, and a new house. "All you need to do," he said, "is sign this paper and we will take care of everything. You will be rich before the month ends." Rafi's eyes widened with excitement, but Amir felt unease. He remembered Hakim's warning, "Do not sign anything without knowing its meaning." "Thank you, sir," Amir said politely, "but we need time to think." Mr. Karim's smile faded slightly. "Do not delay too long, boys. Opportunities do not wait forever." After the man left, Rafi turned to Amir. "Why did you refuse? This was our chance to become rich quickly." Amir shook his head. "It was too fast, too easy. Men like him do not come here to help us. They come to take what we have. We must be wise." The brothers now stood at a crossroad. The world beyond their village had learned about their secret. Oil had brought them hope, but also danger. Their next choice would decide whether their discovery became a blessing or a curse. And deep inside, both Amir and Rafi knew that their bond as brothers would soon be tested more than ever before. The days after Mr. Karim's visit were tense. Amir and Rafi could feel the air around them changing. Villagers watched them with new eyes. Some looked with respect, others with jealousy, and a few with greed. The brothers' quiet life had suddenly become a storm. Amir spent most of his time thinking. He walked near the barren land, staring at the black stains in the soil, wondering if they had opened a door too big for them to control. Rafi, on the other hand, grew restless. His dreams were full of riches. He imagined their hut replaced with a fine house, their clothes replaced with clean fabric, and their stomachs always full. One evening, Hakim visited their hut. The old man leaned on his stick and looked at the brothers with kind but worried eyes. "My sons," Hakim said, "I see shadows around you. The discovery you made is no longer a secret. Outsiders will not stop coming. You must decide together what path you will take." Amir bowed his head. "I know, Hakim, that is what troubles me. I fear we may lose everything." Rafi clenched his fists. "Or we may gain everything. Why do we always think of fear?" "This is our chance," Hakim sighed. "Hope and fear must stay in balance. If you lean too much on either, you will fall." That night, after Hakim left, the brothers sat outside under the stars. Amir spoke first. "Rafi, we must not rush. If we give the oil to the first stranger who offers us money, we will regret it later. We must learn, we must plan." Rafi shook his head. "And if we wait too long? What if someone stronger takes it away? At least with the company, we get something. Now we have nothing but dreams." Their words grew sharp, but their mother's weak cough from inside the hut reminded them of what truly mattered. They fell silent, remembering their promise to stay united. The next morning, another group of men arrived from the city. Unlike Karim, they looked more serious. They brought equipment, took samples of the soil, and asked questions. The headman of the village met them, and soon a crowd gathered to watch. Everyone wanted to know what would happen. One of the men, who called himself Mr. Danish, gathered the villagers and explained. "Yes, there is oil here, a great deal of it, but taking it out is expensive. It needs machines, workers, and time. We are ready to invest, but we will need control of the land." At this, the villagers started murmuring. Some thought it would bring jobs and money to the village. Others feared they would lose their land. Amir stepped forward. "This is our land. If you want it, you must deal with us first, and we will not give it away easily." Mr. Danish smiled politely. "Of course. But think carefully. If you try to manage this by yourselves, you will fail. Only we have the power to bring the oil out." Rafi listened with wide eyes. The promises sounded sweet, but Amir felt the trap hidden in the man's words. After the men left, arguments filled the village. Some demanded that the brothers sign an agreement quickly, so that money would flow into the village. Others accused Amir and Rafi of being selfish. The pressure grew heavier each day. One evening, the headman called Amir and Rafi again. His face was stern. "You cannot keep delaying. If you refuse the company, you may bring danger to us all. Think of the village, not just yourselves." Amir answered calmly. "We are not refusing. We are only waiting to find the right way. If we make a mistake now, we may lose everything, and the village will also lose." The headman said nothing more, but his eyes showed impatience. Meanwhile, Salim the trader returned, pretending to be friendly. He whispered to Rafi when Amir was not nearby. "Why wait for your brother? You could sign alone. Think of the riches. You will be powerful and no one will question you." Rafi's heart wavered. He loved his brother, but his hunger for quick success was strong. That night he argued again with Amir. "Why do you always stop us?" Rafi demanded. "Why must we wait?" "We are wasting time," Amir's voice was steady. "Because wealth without wisdom is a curse. I cannot let us be cheated. Please, Rafi, trust me." Rafi turned away in frustration, but deep inside he knew Amir's words were true. Still, temptation gnawed at him. Days passed and tension thickened. Villagers grew divided. Some supported the brothers. Others began to side with outsiders. Amir realized that time was slipping from their hands. If they did not act soon, someone else would decide for them. So one night, Amir made a plan. He told Rafi, "We will go to the city together this time. We will find a lawyer or someone who can read contracts. If we must deal with these companies, we will do it with knowledge." "Not blindly," Rafi agreed, though not with full heart, but he could not deny his brother's wisdom. The next morning, the brothers set out for the city, leaving their mother under the care of Hakim. The journey was long, but they walked with determination. When they reached the city, Amir searched for people who could guide them. After 2 days, they found a kind lawyer named Mr. Tariq, who agreed to explain the papers without asking for money. Mr. Tariq studied the contract given by Mr. Karim earlier. His face darkened. If you had signed this, you would have lost all rights to your land. They would take the oil and leave you with only a small payment. You must never sign such things without help. Rafi felt a chill run through him. He realized how close they had come to losing everything. Amir bowed with gratitude. Thank you, sir. You have saved us, Mr. Tariq smiled. Remember, knowledge is your true weapon. If you want to keep your treasure, you must learn more. The brothers returned to the village wiser than before. Rafi now respected Amir's caution. He understood that their discovery was not a simple gift, but a test of patience and wisdom. Yet the trouble was not over. When they returned, they found the village restless. Rumors had spread that the brothers had already made a secret deal in the city. Some villagers accused them of betrayal. Others demanded proof. Amir raised his hands to calm the crowd. We have made no deal. We only went to learn the truth. We will not let outsiders cheat us. We promise that when the time comes, the village will share in the blessing. Some believed him, but others still doubted. The tension remained like a shadow. That night, Amir and Rafi sat outside their hut again. The stars shone above and the barren land lay silent nearby. Rafi spoke softly. Brother, I understand now. You were right. If we had rushed, we would have lost everything. But how long can we wait? Already people doubt us. Already greed surrounds us. Amir looked at the dark horizon. We will wait as long as we must, Rafi. This is not only about oil. It is about protecting our family, our village, and our bond. We will face the trials together. The brothers held their promise once more, but neither of them knew that the greatest challenge was still to come, and it would not only test their patience but also their loyalty to each other. The village grew restless with every passing day. The oil beneath Amir and Rafi's land had become the talk of not only their small community, but also nearby towns. Strangers began visiting more often, some pretending to be friendly traders, others openly asking about the oil. For Amir and Rafi, life was no longer simple. They could feel eyes watching them wherever they went. Amir stayed calm, trying to think carefully about each step. He had learned from the lawyer in the city that knowledge was their strongest shield, but Rafi often grew impatient. He was tired of arguments, whispers, and pressure from the villagers. He wanted to see real change, not endless waiting. One afternoon, as they worked near the barren land, Rafi threw his shovel to the ground in frustration. Brother, he said sharply, what have we gained so far? We discovered oil, yet we are still poor. Our hut is still the same, our mother is still sick, and we still work with tired hands. When will things change? Amir placed a hand on his shoulder. I know your heart burns, Rafi, but rushing will destroy everything. Do you not see how close we came to losing it all with that first contract? Patience is hard, but it is our only path. Rafi lowered his head, torn between trust in his brother and the hunger inside him. That evening, Hakim visited again. His wise eyes studied the brothers. My sons, the storm is near. Outsiders are already moving closer. You must stand united or your treasure will break you apart. Amir nodded with respect. We will remain together, Hakim. That is our promise. The next week brought new trials. Mr. Danish, the city agent who had tested the land earlier, returned with more men and larger machines. He spoke to the headman and some villagers, promising jobs, money, and roads if the company could take control. Many villagers became excited. They began pressing Amir and Rafi, saying that they should accept quickly. One night, the headman came to their hut with several villagers. His tone was stern. Amir, Rafi, you must not delay anymore. The company offers progress. Do you not want your mother treated in the best hospital? Do you not want food and wealth? Do you want the whole village to suffer because of your stubbornness? Rafi's heart wavered. He almost spoke in agreement, but Amir stood tall. We will not give away our land for promises, Amir said firmly. If the company truly wants to work with us, they must offer fair terms. We will not sign blindly. The headman frowned, and the villagers left with mixed feelings. Rafi turned to Amir in anger. Why must you always resist? He shouted. Do you not see? Everyone is against us now. Even the headman. If we lose the support of the village, we will have no strength. Amir remained calm. Brother, wealth gained in weakness is not wealth at all. If we surrender to pressure, we will regret it forever. Rafi said nothing more, but his silence was heavy with doubt. The next morning, when Amir went to fetch water, Salim the trader approached Rafi secretly once again. "Your brother is blind," Salim whispered. "He will waste your chance. But you, Rafi, you are wise. If you sign with the company yourself, you will be rich instantly. You can buy medicines, food, clothes, everything. Do not let your brother hold you back." Rafi's heart pounded. The thought of a better life was tempting. But when he looked toward the hut where his mother lay resting, he remembered her words. "Never let greed break your bond." Slowly he shook his head. "No, Salim, I will not betray my brother. Leave me." Salim's face hardened, but he walked away without another word. When Amir returned, Rafi told him everything. Amir's eyes softened with relief. "Thank you, Rafi, you stayed true. Our strength lies in our unity. That is what will save us." At last, Amir decided it was time to act. Waiting too long was dangerous, but rushing blindly was worse. So he made a bold plan. He would call for a meeting with the villagers and the company men together. There he would speak openly and clearly. The day of the meeting arrived. Under the shade of a large tree in the village square, the villagers gathered. Mr. Danish and his men sat on one side, their papers and pens ready. Amir and Rafi stood in the center with Hakim watching silently nearby. Amir began to speak. His voice was calm but strong. "Brothers and sisters, you know what lies under our land. Yes, it is oil. We discovered it, but we are not selfish. We want the village to benefit too. Yet we cannot give it away without wisdom. These men offer promises, but we have seen how such promises can turn into chains. If we sign blindly, we will lose our land, our freedom, and our future." The crowd murmured. Some nodded, others frowned. Mr. Danish stood up and smiled. "You speak well, Amir, but let us be honest. Without us, you cannot take out the oil. It is impossible. Why resist what is clearly the only way forward?" Amir faced him without fear. "We do not resist progress, but progress must be fair. If your company truly wants to work with us, then you must treat us as partners, not beggars. We will share, but we will not surrender." The villagers looked at each other. Slowly, they began to see the truth in Amir's words. Hakim raised his voice for the first time. "The brothers speak with wisdom. If we let greed guide us, we will lose everything. If we stand with them, we can protect both the land and the village." The mood shifted. Even the headman, after a long pause, finally nodded. "Very well. If the brothers demand fairness, then we stand with them." Mr. Danish's smile faded. He realized the brothers were not simple villagers to be fooled. His men packed their papers and left, saying they would return with a better offer. That night the village was peaceful again. The brothers sat outside watching the stars. Rafi turned to Amir. "Brother, today I saw your strength. You spoke for us all. I almost lost my path, but now I know patience is our true weapon. Whatever comes, we will face it together." Amir smiled gently. "Yes, Rafi. We began this journey with nothing but hope. Now we have knowledge, unity, and the support of our people. That is greater than any promise of gold." Days turned into weeks, and true change began to appear. New visitors arrived, not with tricks, but with fair deals. Slowly, with guidance from honest men like Mr. Tariq, the brothers negotiated wisely. They built a partnership that allowed the oil to be taken out while protecting the land and the village's future. Their mother finally received proper treatment, and her health improved. The village gained roads, schools, and jobs, but without losing its dignity. And through it all, Amir and Rafi stayed side by side, remembering their promise under the stars. The barren land that everyone once ignored had indeed changed their lives. But the greatest treasure was not the oil itself. It was the bond between two poor brothers who refused to let greed or fear break them apart. And so, their story became a lesson for the village and for all who heard it. Wealth can change lives, but only wisdom and unity can protect it.